Yes, guys, what's up? So, a video on Sakio Bika versus Adonis Stevenson, Superman. I liked it because I wasn't caught up in all the hype, and I really got to sit back and just really analyze all the boxing that was taking place, and I was really getting to watch this fight really closely. Bika was moving up, and I definitely think that this was a huge factor in this fight. I think with Bika moving up, you could definitely see, like, I'm not even gonna lie, it's the 12th round, the fight's still going on, but I'm feeling really sleepy, so just wanted to do this video, get it out there. Ooh, Bika just caught him. But the thing is, yeah, I think that this is what I'm saying. Like, Bika did manage to catch Stevenson several times in the fight with some strong hooks, but Stevenson wasn't going anywhere, and I think that is definitely due to the testimony that Bika is moving up in weight. Stevenson is, he looks the bigger guy. He just is naturally bigger. I mean, Bika looks ripped. You could tell that they're a weight class apart. Naturally, Stevenson just has the bigger frame, and he's just a heavier guy. And when you're getting hit by a heavier guy, it's going to hurt. And I think in addition to that, I think Bika, had Sakio Bika been a bigger guy, I think them hooks that he landed would have had more power behind them, obviously, because you got more weight behind you. And I think that could have made a difference in the fight. Maybe we would have got some knockdowns. But having said that, you've got to give it to Adonis Stevenson. He's southpaw. He used his jab to set up the left hand like Manny Pacquiao does. And I think that was key. I think that was one key to why he's won this fight so comfortably. Secondly, I think his footwork was just perfect. I mean, it just shows you, like, when you've got a nice orthodox stance, well, southpaw, but when I'm saying orthodox, I mean not square on it. You know what I mean? Straight, nice, right foot, left foot, small target to hit. Basics. He was there, and then he's got the power in the left hand, and it's just you could see like class boxing. But for me, what did it was his range, and I think that's what really controlled the fight. I mean, Adonis Stevenson had the range in the fight. He was landing the left hand, the straight left hand, and it was just beautiful, to watch him how he set up with the jab and caught Sakio Bika multiple times in the fight with the left hand. But even more than that, than the range, above everything, I've been wanting to say this little point. What I've seen of Stevenson, what was very special to me, was the bodywork. See, what you could tell, and this is where weight comes into it. I don't know if you guys have ever had sparring, but when you go to certain gyms, right, they want when there's like a range of different people, it's not right that they put you in there with, they're not going to put in a featherweight with a middleweight. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that happens in gyms. I mean, some gyms maybe, but gyms I've seen, and I've been to, it doesn't happen like that. But what happens is they can put you in with a guy who's heavier than you and say, yo, everyone body spar and just rotate. Now, something that I've noticed is when you're body sparring with people who are bigger than you, it's extremely difficult to beat them or push them on the back foot because they've got the weight advantage. Their body is bigger. It's harder to punch through them. They're gonna have naturally more punching power than you because they are bigger. Excuse me. And I think like what happened in this fight was Stevenson was landing body shots on Bika that hurt Bika, and because he was getting hurt with the body shots, he was putting his hands down, and that was ultimately leading. And on top of that, when you had the jabbing that he had and the left hand that was thrown, you were gonna get knockdowns, and he did get hurt several times in the fight. And I think that was it. I think that was a mix of things that won it for Stevenson. I think his nice footwork that was there. I think the jab that was definitely there throughout the fight. And people forget the jab in boxing sometimes. They're fighting, they just forget about the jab. His jab was there. The footwork, it was just nice to see a nice orthodox type of footwork. Nothing too fancy. It was just right, always on balance. Right foot forward, left foot back. It was southpaw, but either way, it's just a mirror image. Beautiful, beautiful foot placement. I think the body shots definitely set up the head shots, and I think that's what won it for Adonis Stevenson. In addition to that, the weight advantage, everything mixed, you could just see it in the fight. But Sakio Bika isn't Sergey Kovalev. Now, the thing is, Sakio Bika definitely looked smaller. Sergey Kovalev is a big guy. The fight would be totally different. And to me, Sakio Bika was able to catch Adonis Stevenson in this fight a lot. Having said this, Sakio Bika is lighter and he was faster. Maybe that's why he caught Adonis Stevenson. Kovalev is going to be a lot slower than Sakio Bika, but he has the power he looks to me like he hasn't got any sort of a chin problem. I think usually by this stage of someone's career, you'll know if someone's got a chin problem. I don't think he's got a chin issue. I think Sergey Kovalev versus Adonis Stevenson is the logical fight to be made. Kovalev he's not small at the weight, he's big at the weight, he's strong, he's a different style fighter. And at the end of the day, if Sakio Bika was landing the left right hooks numerous times in the fight, if that was Kovalev landing them big punches, it's night Adonis Stevenson. And I don't think, even though Stevenson's a good boxer, it's difficult to see how he lasts 12 against Kovalev. You know, it's not easy to see that happening. But obviously the fight's not happened yet, so I'm not going to make a prediction. But Adonis Stevenson, if he's got a chance, he has to outbox Kovalev, which he could do because he can box. And Sergey Kovalev, he's not the best boxer. He's okay, but he's not the best. But then a lot of these fights are determined upon power and speed, and like especially nowadays where that makes such a difference from the day of the weigh-in to the fight the next day. You've got time to hydrate. There's a lot of strength and conditioning, a lot of nutrition comes into play. Nowadays, that stuff's really visible. It's really visible. Winning by unanimous decision, Adonis Stevenson, still WBC light heavyweight champion. Look, I want to see Kovalev versus Stevenson. Like I said before, totally different fight. At the moment, I'm going to edge with Kovalev in the fight. But, the fight's not made. As the fight gets closer, it'll be very interesting to see what sort of shape they're both in. And I need to go back and watch Kovalev because I've seen him before, but I've not seen enough of him. The only fight that's really in my mind at the moment is the Bernard Hopkins fight. That's what's really stuck in my mind about Kovalev. But then Adonis Stevenson isn't an old Bernard Hopkins. But then this is the thing, Hopkins is a class fighter even now. Even when he fought Kovalev, Hopkins was a good boxer. But we'll just have to wait and see. Adonis Stevenson's got a totally different work rate to Hopkins, a totally different fighter. Comment section below, make sure you subscribe as always. What do you guys think of this fight? I thought Adonis Stevenson boxed well, but I think Sakio Bika was a little bit out of his league in a bit.